The Macro-5 SMG is a very unique weapon as it's one of the very few primary weapons that can be run in Akimbo, but how does it stack up to the other Akimbo weapons that are currently inside Warzone at the moment? That's what we're going to go over in this video. If you do enjoy this style of content, don't forget to subscribe as we try to reach our goal of 50k. Click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel. So as always, we're going to start off with the numbers here, and what we do have is a mixed shot location TTK spreadsheet with every single Akimbo weapon from the game here. Most of them are obviously secondary pistols, but we also do have the new Macro-5 SMG, and we also do have the double barrel shotgun. If you remember, that was broken for a short period of time as well, that everyone wanted to use in Akimbo. But we're mainly focusing here on the TTKs in the first damage range, because the damage does drop off pretty hard with Akimbo weapons. It's almost similar to using a shotgun. The damage drops off around 5 to 7 meters for most of these guns, so you need to be barrel stuffing, and that is why this mixed shot location here is actually pretty accurate, because you're going to be mainly focusing on center mass. But the only difference between this and ADSing a weapon is that you're going to be missing a lot more shots. Now, on the sim.gg website, you can actually account for missed shots, but that's going to depend on players as well and their sensitivity and all those things. So I don't want to factor that in just yet, but just keep in mind the TTKs that you do see here, you're not likely to experience the exact same amount. And we're going to order them in the first damage range because, let's be honest, that is what we're mainly focusing on. If you're not barrel stuffing these weapons, they're not going to be working at all. Let's be perfectly honest. So first of all, what we do have here is the Marshall shotguns. This is from Cold War. And these guns, even though they kill the quickest, they're not great because you only get one kind of shot at killing someone with these guns, and it takes a very long time to reload as well. So I would not really recommend these, even though they do have the fastest TTK. The double barrel shotgun is slightly better, in my opinion. It's definitely better than the Marshall shotguns, but again, it's got the same issue. Even though you do kind of miss your shots, you're then taking a long time to reload to get back into the gunfight. It is good for a bit of a gimmick, but other than that, not really practical. The top breaks, however, I think are really powerful. Probably one of the best secondary options in the game at the moment. Probably one of the best shotguns in general in the game, especially because it's a secondary option. Then we have the full auto 1911 pistols from Vanguard. These are actually pretty solid. The only issue with this in the full auto capacity is that the mags run out really quickly when you're firing both of these guns. But as you can see, the TTKs are very consistent at close range and in that second damage drop off, so you're actually going to get a very good TTK with this. Again, although you do need to kind of pretty much use them in point blank range. Akimbo deagles are pretty decent, but even though you see this TTK, you miss one bullet, the TTK goes up exponentially with this gun because it fires so slow, so it's not really all that viable. 1911 semi-automatic in Akimbo. Not a lot of people like semi-auto Akimbo weapons, let's be perfectly honest, but it is decent. Diamati pistols here are pretty solid because they are burst fire, so they're going to be a lot easier to use. 1911 semi-automatic in Akimbo, again, not as good as the full auto, so you might as well go for the full auto. Then we've got the Macro SMG, which has insanely broken movement speed right now, really good hip fire accuracy, and it's got a decent TTK. All these TTKs are very good for most of these weapons anyway, if you compare them to what you get in a single fire weapon. So let's get into some actual builds for these weapons here. So first of all, we do have the Akimbo double barrel shotgun. Now, the reason why I've put this on the list, even though it has one of the fastest TTKs, which is obviously great, on top of that, now with the taped grip, it has some insanely fast movement speed. So even though you are missing some shots, you'll be able to kind of dodge and kind of get out the way, get your reload off, and then get back in a gunfight super quickly. And a lot of the attachments that are kind of meta for this gun have movement speed boosts as well, so it's almost a no-brainer to choose this. So you need to use the full choke to get a tighter pellet spread. It's going to make sure your shots hit target. Then you need to use a sawed-off barrel, which is going to give you the best possible TTK for this weapon. You have to use a sawed-off barrel. It's going to give you wider pellet spread, which isn't the best pro, but you do get damage range, you get movement speed. ADS, again, you don't really need because we're running this in Akimbo, but overall, this is the best barrel. Then we're using the G16 just to give us a better accuracy. Remove stock for the better hipfire accuracy and movement speeds once again. We are using Akimbo, of course. Quick. The taped grip to give you that insanely fast movement speed right now. This is literally broken, so if you can use it on whatever weapon you can, just make sure you use the tape grip. And then we're using a double aught magazine, which is the one that is going to give you the fastest TTK. And then hollow point, you can also use buck and slug as well. Both give you very similar TTKs, so it's just going to come down to personal preference. I do think hollow point gives you a slightly faster TTK just because the limb damage is a little bit higher, but it doesn't really matter which one you go for there. But overall, double barrel shotgun is definitely solid. Next up, we have the Vanguard 1911 pistols, and again, like I said, you do run out of ammo very quickly with this gun, and that's why it's kind of lower down on the list. The ones that are slightly higher up are going to be overall just a lot easier to use, but it does have, again, one of the fastest TTKs, so it's still worth giving a go if you want to try something out. So I'm using rifle brake to help with the side-to-side recoil. You could go for the F8 stabilizer. Both are solid options. It's probably the best options we can get with pistols from Vanguard anyway. Full auto barrel, which is an absolute must, is going to give you that insanely fast TTK, of course. Rapid action fire rate barrel, which is going to give you the fastest fire rate. 24 round mags, because we need these to actually use this gun, otherwise it's just not going to be viable at all. Hollow point, just to make sure we're getting the extra limb damage. Then we're going for the pine tar grip to get the recoil control and hip fire accuracy. I feel like with this gun in particular, you do need it because it's got a lot of recoil for a secondary pistol. So I do feel like, as much as I want to use a tape grip on this gun, the pine tar grip is something you have to use to get that recoil control. Then we're using the Akimbo, quick, and the G16 optic, as always. At number 4, we have the Daimachi pistol. This is a very easy one. Everyone's used this gun, everyone's leveled it up. And even though it did get a bit of a nerf with a couple of updates ago, it was only the single fire version of this gun that did get nerfed with its headshot multiplier. The Akimbo version stayed the same. So overall, you can still use this gun, and Akimbo is definitely very solid. So you want to use the agency suppressor for all the kind of recoil controlling benefits and the damage range boost. You can also go for a muzzle brake as well. I found I do like muzzle brake quite a lot on the Daimachi pistol. Task force barrel for the better strafe speeds, because even when you're firing and moving left and right, you will get that benefit there. 5mm laser, but you can also use a Tiger Team spotlight if you want faster movement speeds, just to kind of keep up with these Vanguard weapons. So both are kind of solid options there. Personally, I would go for the 5mm laser just to make sure your hip fire is on point. Dual wield, obviously, which is basically a Akimbo attachment, and then the 30 round fast mags to make sure you can reload quicker. But overall, Daimachis are very easy to use. You've probably already got these leveled up. At number 3, we have the best shotgun in the game, which is basically the top break pistols. Now, there's no real reason to use most of the shotguns in this game because this actually beats it out for the most part, and it works very similar to a shotgun. Not only that, it has one of the fastest fire rates out of all the kind of shotguns that are available in this game as well, because it's technically a pistol. So it's actually very, very solid, and movement's pretty good on it as well, especially with that tape grip, which we are putting on here. So you want to use rifle brake to help with the side-to-side recoil. It gives you flinch resistance as well, but you can choose whatever you want in the muzzle category. It's not really going to change your TTKs or anything. Stub barrel is going to give you the best damage range and bullet velocity. The bullet penetration thing is not really too important. We're using the G16 for the better accuracy, the rapid action barrel for the faster fire rate, which means a faster TTK, of course. Then we're using the Russian short magazine for the better damage. You have to use this to get the best TTK. Shot shell, which is going to make this feel like an actual shotgun, obviously boosts out the damage radius. We're using the tape grip for that insanely fast movement speeds on pistols. You could just fly around the map with this thing. Akimbo, and then we're also using quick as well for better sprint speeds. But overall, with the tape grip, this is a solid gun to use again. At number 2, we have the best replacement to the Macro-5 SMG. If you want a secondary weapon that can do a similar task to what the Macro-5 can do at the moment, then this is definitely a good option for you, because it has all the Vanguard attachments that are completely broken at the moment, so you can still get away with using this and doing extremely well with it. The only thing I would change slightly is, instead of using the short barrel, which is what I recommended at the start of this video to get that insanely fast TTK, you actually want to use the 140mm barrel, which is going to give you a 500 millisecond TTK, which is about 20 milliseconds slower, but you're likely to land way more shots with this just in general, so you're better off with this barrel instead. You do want to use the rifle brake to help with the side-to-side recoil control. You do want to use the G16 optic, the rapid action barrel for the faster fire rate, the Grenko 40 round fast mags, which is going to give you the faster fire rate, which obviously means a better TTK. It also means better movement speeds, which is going to be absolutely insane when you pair it with the taped grip, which is absolutely broken at the moment. So the tape grip, if you can use it, like I said, always make sure you try and go for this at the moment. Hollow point, just to make sure we get an extra limb damage. Akimbo, and quick. Now, once the tape grip does get nerfed, I highly recommend going for the grip that helps with the hip fire accuracy and the recoil control, which is the pine tar grip, and then you can actually switch out the barrel for the short barrel once again. But for the meantime, I would definitely go for the tape grip, because the movement speed bonuses are absolutely insane right now, and that's why a lot of people do enjoy using the Macro-5. Speaking of the Macro-5, at number 1, we do have the Macro-5 SMG, and that's because overall it's just a very solid gun. The mag capacity is massive. It's just a solid gun to use at the moment, and the hipfire accuracy is absolutely insane. Now we're fully building this for hipfire accuracy, other than the tape grip, of course, because let's be honest, that insane movement speed we can't pass up on, and it actually makes up for the Nambu mags, which actually give you slower movement speed. So you actually still get insanely quick movement speeds with this build right here. So recoil booster for the faster fire rate. You actually want to use the body custom, and this is going to give you the better hip fire accuracy and recoil recovery. And the TTKs that I showed at the start of this were actually with this build in particular. You can get a slightly faster TTK with the body barrel, which is the one that helps with the fire rate, but you want to make sure you're landing all your shots, like I said, similar to the machine pistol. So G16 optic as well, folding stock for the better hip fire accuracy, akimbo, obviously, quick, the tape grip for the insane movement speeds right now, and sprint to fire bonus, and then we're using hollow point as well for the extra limb damage. So there we have it. Those are the best akimbo weapons inside Warzone at the moment. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe as we try to reach our goal of 50k. Click that link and subscribe to our second channel, and thank you very much for watching.